You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the BQN Podcast Collective. I'm your host for today, Chrissy, and since Thad is on an away mission, the De Clercks are taking over to talk some Trek. But before we jump into our topic for the day, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make this show possible, particularly our associate producer, Carl Wonders. Listeners, you can hear your name listed as one of our associate producers for a monthly subscription of just $10 at patreon.com/BQN. And keep in mind that a subscription of any amount on Patreon keeps all of the shows on our network ad-free. All right, so as has become our tradition here when Thad is gone, we've got the family sitting around the table. And in this case, we're actually literally sitting around the table because we happen to all be in the same place today. So we'll go around and introduce ourselves. I think many of our listeners also listen to History with the Zalagis, so they know Jay's voice pretty well. But
Hi, I'm Jason.
And then we've got my sister Nikki. Hello. And Dom. All right. Before we get into our episode of Lower Decks, we have a bit of sad news. Tony Todd, who listeners will probably best know as Kern and Old Jake on Next Gen and Deep Space Nine, has died just shy of his 70th birthday. He was somebody who had a lot of roles throughout his time in Hollywood, some of which are very important in the horror genre. And since it's horror genre, I'm going to leave that to Jay since he's our horror genre guy.
Okay. Just give a quick little background of some of the characters that Tony Todd played outside of Star Trek, especially in the horror genre. My first exposure to Tony Todd was the remake for Night of the Living Dead, where he played Ben, who is one of the main antagonists for that movie. Protagonist, yes. And Night of the Living Dead, the original movie, was very important in the horror genre, and because it upended a lot of the existing social standards at the time. Usually, if you had African Americans in a movie, they were a supporting character. They were not a main protagonist. And especially with Night of the Living Dead, spoiler alert, Ben is the sole survivor of that group. I won't go much further than that. And again, it was that idea in the 60s, 50s and 60s. You didn't have a strong black protagonist basically telling a group of white survivors what they're going to do to survive. And the remake for Night of the Living Dead, Tony Todd picks that up very well and does an excellent job as the new version of Ben. Another movie in the genre that you might be familiar with Tony Todd would be Candyman. Again, another excellent horror movie, a folk horror movie that is centered around the projects in Chicago. I would highly recommend seeing the original with Tony Todd. There was a 2021 remake where he does make a brief kind of appearance in there, but he's not the titular antagonist in that one. Another genre that he was in that a lot of horror fans would probably know from the 2000s is Final Destination, where he plays the mortician who explains to the group of protagonists who have survived death's plan that death is patient and that all they've done is just prolonged the hunt, so to speak. I think it's a tie for me with Star Trek as to which character I love Tony Todd the most. Kern is an excellent character because he is a realist when it comes to Klingon honor and politics, where Worf grew up emulating it because he was an outsider. Kern lived it, and he tried to show his brother that, not every interaction a Klingon does is honorable. But the one character that really got me with Tony Todd was Old Jake in The Visitor, because that's one of the things that a lot of the directors who work with Tony Todd said, that he would go into the auditions and he would almost be able to immediately memorize his lines for the audition and then bring that character there. Whether it was sorrow or joy or anger, he was able to just instantly project that. And a lot of the directors who hired him and worked with him said that he was one of the best actors they ever worked with. So the world's lost a really good person.
Mm-hmm. But another warrior is in Stavokor, as it were. And,
Yes.
he will be missed.
Yeah, Tony Todd's portrayal of an old Jake Sisko was so spot on and a great continuation of Sirach Lofton's portrayal of Jake
Yeah.
Sisko. It was just a very natural, like, it felt like a natural progression based on what had happened to him and the trauma that he'd gone through. He dedicated his life, even though that we know he didn't want to pursue life at the Starfleet as a kid, and he didn't do that, but like he completely changed his life and dedicated it to finding his dad, who he knew was not dead.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt on brand. It didn't feel like there was this other person who happened to have the same name as Jake Sisko. It was Jake Sisko, what felt like Jake Sisko's genuine reaction and the emotional weight behind it that Tony Todd expressed.
There is something fitting about talking about him right before we talk about this, because this episode of Lower Decks is about Klingon brothers. Maybe one of whom is a little bit more of a realist than the other, if we go to that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so today we're going to talk about A Farewell to Farms. And this is one of those outside of Starfleet episodes of Lower Decks where we get to see some of the characters we've seen in some of the other outside of Starfleet episodes of Lower Decks, and that is our Klingon central character here, Ma, who we first met in Wejduj, I believe, and then we saw him again when we were finding out that the Klingons were helping the Pakleds to try to destabilize everything. So we learned that Ma has been disgraced because of allowing his crew to mutiny, and of course we know that that is not so much because of the mutiny, but because of the political machinations that were going on with the Pakleds. And so he has returned home to his family's blood wine farm, which I absolutely love. What do you think about that opening sequence?
Absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It was heartwarming.
Yes.
With the music and the art style, it was incredible.
Okay.
And learning that blood wine is made out of what appears to be gach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pressed gach.
Interesting.
It was a good comparison, I thought, to Picard and his brother
Yeah.
Oh,
in the vineyard.
beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful with that. The only thing missing was the mud fight.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the intro that it was different enough. It was telling, us, the audience, what we were to expect in the episode, which was a completely different type of episode, not Starfleet necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
the big brand.
It did.
Yeah.
It did a really good job of setting
Big
the
band.
tone for an aspect of Klingon society that we don't often see.
Which is peaceful.
Yeah, yeah. It was a you think Klingons and you imagine not a farm.
Yeah.
But with
Redundant
this,
organs.
but
Yes.
this, yeah, you imagine redundant organs and
Fighting.
yeah. But with this, it was like, okay, it was like an establishing that whole intro just established that sense of this is not what you're used to,
Mm-hmm.
but this is the reality that they're living in right now,
Yeah.
and carry that with you as you we go on in the story. So it was a good way to establish that tone.
Yeah. I mean, we tend not to think about Klingons need all those aspects of life. You need Klingon farmers, or you need at least people who are farming for Klingons.
Mhm.
And I guess if you'd asked me about it and I had given it any thought, I would have assumed that they had a setup like the Spartans at the Helots. That it wasn't Klingons, that it was some other group that they had enslaved, basically.
Yeah, that idea that Klingon culture is not simply just warriors, because if that was the case, they would have died off a long time ago.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really quick on that note, how many other Klingons have we seen that are outside of the scope of that military complex? And the only one that I can think of off the top of my head is the lawyer from DS9.
And Enterprise.
And Enterprise?
There was a lawyer in Enterprise too.
Okay, I can't remember.
There was also the science officer in Drumhead. I mean, he was not from TNG.
The
Oh,
science
he was
officer
on-
Drumhead.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the exchange.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
And then there was the other science officer, the woman, and I can't remember.
Suspicions.
Suspicion.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
The one with the solar shielding thing.
Yes.
Yeah. That was
The-
big.
Can't forget the Klingon ambassadors.
Yeah.
When they go to the Federation or the Romulans, because you have to have them be able to slightly understand another culture's norms so that they can coexist. Coexist.
Kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Get in the middle of the Federation Council chambers and scream, "You pompous ass." That's fine.
But there's like thinking about all those other aspects.
The Klingon bartender,
Mm-hmm.
the Klingon musicians,
Yeah.
The
power-
Klingon
the power harp.
restaurateur on DS9.
Oh my God, how could we forget him? He's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like those are you don't those aren't the people that are talked about ever in the I don't know in the stories that we get about Klingons.
Yeah.
They're just there. They're present.
and your Klingon tailors with your boob windows. Somebody came up with that.
I think there was a call back to the DS9 restaurant owner with the accordion and the band that we see in the bar.
Of
Mhm.
course.
I didn't even
Yeah.
think of that.
I didn't go there.
As we know Klingon opera, but there
Right.
has to be other
True.
genres. of
Klingon death
music.
metal opera.
Yes.
Klingon death metal is just sped up opera. Different instruments. Oh. Yes, I love that about Lower Decks, that we are getting more of the other side of some groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess with the list we just rattled off, the only one we hadn't seen were Klingon farmers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alright. Well, so we do have this look into the this other aspect of life on Kronos, and we have Ma and Malor, who are blood wine farmers, whose mother is apparently still alive because she hollered at them to get going on their work. And they have to deliver blood wine to a bar called the Warrior Pit, which sounds like is either a franchise or a common name, because apparently there was another Warrior Pit where Martok got into a fight that Boimler knew about, but it wasn't that one. So we get to the Warrior Pit, and we see, first of all, the decoration that Malor has put on the ship causes them to crash, which is fun. And then they get into the bar, and they're late with their delivery.
Like a couple of pataks.
Yes, I think the word patak was used in this more than it was in any
I
in
think so.
all of the rest of Trek, which I love because it loses its seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time we hear that is such a, it is a terrible insult.
Mm-hmm.
And it may still be a terrible insult, but it's also tossed around like lots of terrible insults in
Yeah.
English. So, that's great. We briefly meet Kalara, who is very interested in Ma, but does not appreciate that he knows humans and hangs around with Starfleet types when Mariner and Boimler show up. And of course, he's been ducking talking to Mariner for some reason. Right. So we meet Kalara, and she is voiced by Mary Chieffo, which is fun. I love that Mary Chieffo's kind of like embraced being the Klingon matriarch of the current round of Trek. So yes, more Mary Chieffo is good. So we're in this bar. Boimler's having like a fanboy moment. Everything is so Klingon. How are you feeling about how he's been acting lately?
Well, he's definitely not acting like himself. So obviously he's using that alternate universe personal logs, the personal logs of his alternate universe self as a guidebook of sorts.
Yeah, I'm getting that impression too.
Mm-hmm.
The road not traveled.
Yeah. Which is a nice little undertone of this whole episode, too. But yeah, so I wonder if the alternate universe counterpart is like really into Klingon stuff or something.
Oh, maybe.
You know, because why this particular, unless Boimler's just like embracing everything that scares him, which is possible.
I'm curious how far, when we find out the cause of these temporal holes in space, the anomalies, is Boimler going to have something to do with that?
Ooh,
Because
interesting.
Because he's holding on to an artifact from another universe, maybe,
Yeah.
which is the pad.
Ooh.
yeah, maybe other universe Boimler's trying to get his pad back, and he's like, okay, maybe Boimler will be here, so I'll open up a hole here, try to snatch the pad back. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just the recrafting, but yeah, I'm curious if he's gonna have, because he's like Boimler is the constant, is the through line of that storyline.
So
Is, like,
far,
the visual through line. So.
yeah.
Mm.
You just made me think of All Good Things, and I wonder if we're going to end up with a temporal anomaly type, or a
Ooh.
spatial anomaly type story, a la All Good Things, where it's all, Boimler's in the Picard position of having accidentally
I mean,
created it.
that would be very much on brand for how they've handled.
And for a final season.
Yeah.
And the final episode we know is the next generation, so
That's the name of it?
that's the name of the final episode.
All right.
Which is beautiful on so many levels. Yeah, the Beard is funny. I think we've all enjoyed watching Beard come in. He's kind of got a mustache now. I don't know if you guys saw last week, it was confirmed that they had to edit out all of the Boimler beard from the trailer before it dropped for this season.
Yeah.
Because
Spoiler
if
alert.
anybody would be able to, if anybody's going to pick apart a trailer or a teaser scene by scene,
Trek fans surely wouldn't do that.
no, they
That's
never
not-
would.
That's not at all something that
Trek
that
fans
we're known for.
notoriously don't pay attention to detail.
Trek fans don't pause the episode 50 times in a
Yeah, I'm not a
watch
Trek
through.
fan at all.
Yeah.
Repeatedly to make sure that actually the Klingons in their bare feet still have the horns that we see on their boots too.
No kidding. The first time we watched this episode, it took us probably 20 minutes to get through the first 3 minutes of the episode.
Well, we did kind of go off track talking about something that related, but still, yeah, it was about that.
That's what makes it fun.
I love doing that, though.
Yes.
Yeah. It had a lot to do with voice acting.
Mhm.
So we can talk about that later.
Oh, yeah, which I don't have in the notes here, but we'll come to that. Let's go through the bar first, and then we'll come back to that. Right. So Ma's been ducking Mariner. So she finally, with Boimler, finds him in the bar. Boimler gets himself beat up in the bar while Mariner's explaining that she had to return a bone thingy to the Klingon Museum of Bone Thingies, I think she says. And then she looked him up and she's like, I'm going to help you get your captaincy back because of how helpful he was with the whole Packlet situation. So, yeah, and then they're talking about it, and he really doesn't want to get his captaincy back necessarily. We learn later that it's because of Bark, the guy that's in charge of the fleet, that he's not happy about that. But right now he's just trying to duck it, and Boimler comes up with the excellent idea of invoking the ritual of Jethurg, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which allows a discharged captain to reclaim his command from the Oversight Council. And
The
yeah.
fun part that I loved with that was that all of the Klingon warriors, well, Barg and Ha, didn't know that this law existed.
Oh, yes.
Malor makes the point that he doesn't know. He doesn't know, and that's a theme with Malor, is that he is constantly bringing up the fact that his brother is stupid.
Because his brother is constantly calling him stupid, but we know that
Yes.
Malar is smarter than we
Mhm.
think. So let's talk about the voice acting that got us waylaid while we were trying to watch it. This is a voice actor that I was not familiar with, or didn't realize I was familiar with, until you guys started talking about what he's been in. So
So go on this journey with us. The first time the character Malor opened his mouth, I said, "Hang on, I know that voice. Who is it?" And I looked at Jason, and Jason said Sergeant Hatred from
Venture Brothers.
Venture Brothers, who's had 2 voice actors, but both very. I mean, they did very similar voices, but
We knew it wasn't
mostly-
Brendan Smalls. That we aren't so lucky as to get Brendan Smalls on Star Trek. That would be so awesome.
One of these days.
Yeah.
Maybe. One of these days. Anyways, so Christopher McCulloch was Sergeant Hatred in Venture Brothers post season 2. And I heard Malor open his mouth, and I was like, I'll be damned. That is Sergeant Hatred, absolutely. But no, it was Sam Witwer, who folks, Star Wars fans might know as Darth Maul in Clone Wars and Rebels.
Star Killer.
Or
also
Star
Star Wars.
Killer in Star Wars Unleashed, who he also did the motion capture for.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, so on top of that, he also plays another character in this episode, who we haven't started talking about yet, but Sir Legnog, also
Yes.
voiced by Sam Witwer. And so he's just all over this episode showing off his incredible range. And yeah, so there was about 20 minutes of going back and forth, like, that sounds like so-and-so. But no, it's someone who's just got entirely, save some talent for the rest of us, for Christ's sakes. Jeez. But yeah, also about Malor, I think I just love that we've got a Klingon who isn't involved in the military
Yeah.
industrial complex. 1, 2, playing video games on the way to a drop, to dropping off the wine at
And
the bar.
snacking. Just
Snacking on
all
gosh.
that.
And sees past all the dumb, all of the
Just his fetishization of the warrior culture.
that's that for
There.
sure. Yeah. He
That's
just
It's just
Good
like a
It's good.
stay-at-home know-it-all cool guy.
he's not gonna bother himself with all the other
Right,
stuff. He
yeah.
knows like I make blood wine and I
Yep.
hog tie targs.
Yep.
And
I
he's good at
targ
it.
tie targs.
And when he's asked to express the anal glands, he's like, "This is something I'm good at. I can do this."
Yep.
Yeah,
You know, and he's not.
He
doesn't
takes
think it's
pride in his
ridiculous.
work.
Yeah.
Right.
And telling them each to grab a leg of the giant targ, and
Mhm.
his brother's like, "Well, how is that going to work?" Listen to the man.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
He does.
He's not disillusioned by all of that stuff.
No.
Yeah. So not Sergeant Hatred, but still very just it was I
Great
love
voice
that voice. I love that voice because it's basically the same as that. And yeah. Anyways, I digress.
I think we have a new contender for Nikki's favorite Klingon.
Outside of the military.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess really Worf would count among those too because he's in Starfleet. So, anyways, we're gonna come all the way back around to the ritual of Jathurg and where we get, and this isn't. It's kind of a theme like in Klingon stories where we get just like some random friggin' ritual that's like
Yep.
that somebody pulls out of their back pocket, like
They have a lot of rituals.
what about this one? And they're like, and some folks know about it because in a mocking way, like Malor.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the folks who would be held to those rituals don't know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we go back and forth between this and the other story with Miglemo's people and the Cerritos. We're gonna go through most of the Klingon story here, and then we'll come back to Miglemo, and because the two stories do not intersect at all, which that makes it easier to talk about separately. So when we go back to Kronos. We have this wonderful moment of these two Klingons who are driving, and the one cuts the other off, I think, and shouts "Experience Beige" at him. For anybody who doesn't know, and I don't know if there's anybody listening to the podcast who hasn't heard us talk about this at one point or another, but this is a reference to a VCR board game from the 90s where that was something that happened when you hit one of the negative spaces. I've never played the game. I need to play the game. I have promise that when we're all in the same place at some point we will play the game, so
Good luck finding a VCR though.
Oh, it's
A
on
player
YouTube
of-
though.
Oh, it
That's
is,
what I
okay.
said too, but it's apparently on YouTube. So, if you want to hear some people playing the game, you can go way back over to Earl Grey on Trek FM, and the guys over there did a round of it probably 5-6 years ago.
Hmm.
And I do remember listening to that, and I remember thinking it was fun. But like I said, it was 5 or 6 years ago, and there's been a lot that's happened in the last 5 or 6 years. So, yeah. So experience beige. I think that might be my new random insult to people. It's nice. People don't necessarily know what it is and don't understand that, you're insulting them or whatever. So,
I wonder if we could get that as a bumper sticker.
oh,
Like, I don't know.
I'm sure some place would likely commission that for you.
I bet that's on Redbubble.
Probably. Anybody with a cricket can do it.
Well, that's true. Yeah. So, right. So, we get to the meeting of the council. Where did it go?
Council of Oversight.
Council of Oversight. Thank you.
Which anytime council oversight, council, public safety committee, those are your indicators that they're not there to do the thing for the regular.
Oh, no, not at
community.
all. Not at all. So, they all go to see the council. We find out Corinne is on the council. We find out Corinne is just as much of a drunk as he has ever been. Ruining something that he picks up to collect his very acid,
A brazier.
acid-like puke. And that's of a benefit, of course, to Ma and everybody else, because Mariner, knowing Corinne, is gives him a connection.
A huge advantage.
Mm-hmm. And he vaguely remembers Boimler. What does he call him? Pointer? Something? No, Pointer is his pointers from last week. Anyway,
I can't remember.
he corrects him and he says, "But it's an honor to be remembered at all." Which, yeah. So they say, "All right, we're going to invoke the ritual of Jatherg," which has to be verified by the woman that's there on the council, who says that the creature mews correctly because she looks it up, which I absolutely love. That Anaj, that's her name.
Is this when Malor says that Boimler is full of words?
That was
human is full of words.
Yes, that was earlier, but it is beautiful. Yes, because he is full of words. Yeah. So the first part of the rite of Jatherg is the rite of unending pain, which we have seen before. This is the traveling through the pain sticks, which is a very common Klingon ritualistic element, I guess.
You can do it to celebrate a birthday. You can do it to
Get your captaincy back.
I don't know, explode a livestock animal's head, which is how
What am I
Ryan
forgetting?
described it. And
Wasn't that when it was
The wedding.
Worf's bachelor party?
I thought it was his birthday party. Oh,
They did do his birthday
That
party.
was a next gen. And
yes.
O'Brien wasn't there for that one.
Right.
He wasn't getting the pain sticks in that one. Only Worf got
Only
the pain
Worf
sticks
got
in
the
that
pain.
one.
Only
Yeah.
Worf was lucky
So,
enough because it wasn't
even if he
O'Brien's
was there.
birthday.
Yeah. But yeah, they did the pain sticks for the bachelor party, I think. And yes, that's because it's a cattle prod.
Yep.
Yeah. So this, I don't know if we knew before that this was intended to represent Kalis's journey through the Field of Thorns, after which this is another myth of how the Batleth was created, because he takes the thorns out of his legs and forms them into a sword with which he kills Feklar. So there's a little bit more of our Klingon Jesus versus the devil mythology. If I wanted to get all Klingon sociology on this, which I won't at the moment, but the other way we learned how to create the Batleth was from his hair in lava, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's two different. Maybe they only said sword this time, so maybe that wasn't the Batleth. Maybe it was a Mechleth or something.
Maybe he just,
It's
yeah,
just a
maybe he
sword.
just.
Or with a thorn it being the dagger.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
I was gonna say, with many religions in human history, you have various different interpretations of the supposedly exact same event, and a lot of times instead of trying to disqualify the other one, they just include it in there and take your pick.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a veritable buffet of Kalis fables, Kalis myths.
Yes, which we'll come back to at the end too. It's an extra Kalis myth that we had to look up. So they get through the first two Oh, they did have to drag Malor in because they needed a fourth. So they get through the first two.
And the only way that they could get him to agree was Mariner had to bribe him with money.
Oh, 1,000 Narsics, yeah.
Yes, and then when he heard
Like
that,
a Ferengi.
yes, because he didn't care about his brother's honor.
No. He doesn't care about honor. He cares about his targs and his wine. And you know what? That's where his honor is.
He
That's
can buy
where-
another Targ with that many Darsics.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or, a few more acres for the...
Or another console, another video game.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go.
And I wonder if it's like Klingon Steam. Does he actually own the digital games? Or does he just get to rent them?
He's just an iPad kid.
Oh,
Oh,
no. You
He's a
ruined
Zoomer.
Malor.
I'm sorry.
You have ruined Malor.
He's constantly holding it and bringing it around.
Yeah. Okay. No, he's better than that. But
Yes.
okay. He's a millennial who loves their phone like we do. So the pain sticks have an increasingly higher, more powerful jolt to them, the end of which is enough to kill any of them individually, but Boimler, because he's a smart mewling human, uses physics to figure out that if they all are touching each other, then it won't hit them all as hard. I don't know if that's right.
I don't know either.
Because that reminded me of was a story Papa used to tell about his grandfather who would touch the electric fence and all the kids would be in a row.
Yes.
And the last one would get
The
the
last one who gets it, yeah.
Because there's
Right.
one that gets grounded.
Right.
I'm not sure, but I do like how it was Malor who ended up being the one that had to carry all of them because he was the biggest one.
Right.
This guy. Yeah.
I've been thinking about that too, and I'm like, I should have paid more attention in science class, because I feel like it's not going to dilute the charge and make it easier to take if it's split between multiple
Yeah.
bodies. I
Well,
didn't
it's
think that was the
believable.
case.
You were-
It's believable.
You were
Yeah.
paying attention in economics and government. That's why you didn't hit the science.
Yeah.
And writing, for them.
Yeah, really.
Definitely for writing.
But it was just I was confused about that. But I kind of related to this, that reminded me of, it's got big House of Quark vibes,
Oh,
where
yes.
you have this outsider come in with like they're using what they know best
Yes.
to not game the system, but just to interact with the system in a way that the Klingons aren't used to.
And the way that makes sense to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's continuation of that, like not just in House of Quark, but in the episode where we get Grilka again.
Looking for Parmach in all the wrong places.
Yes.
Love it.
Where they kind of accommodate the rights by hooking Quark up as like a
Yes.
puppet to Worf,
It's
which was Jadzia's idea.
right, and it's a Trek take on what's the play where the guy is speaking for the other guy who thinks he's ugly. Barclay played him, and also Steve Martin played him.
Barclay played him in the holodeck.
Yeah. Excuse me. Steve Martin did a modern version of the story, and it was also a story that Barclay did. It was a play that Crusher did with Barclay in the lead.
I know the one you're talking about. I have to find the name of it because
Yeah.
off the top of my head, it escapes me.
This is why we edit. And we don't do-
Roxanne.
Roxanne's the movie, but what's the play? That's the Steve Martin movie.
Yeah.
It's riveting radio right here. Cyrano de Bergerac, yes. Okay. Yes, so House of Quark or not House of Quark. The scene with Quark and Worf with that is a take on Cyrano de Bergerac.
Okay.
It was a long way around that. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I love that because, again, Trek takes its cues from the classics,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
always. So, yeah, if there's any physicists or electricians or anybody that knows if that should actually work, let us know. We're not on Twitter anymore, but you can hit us up on Blue Sky and Facebook and all that. So they get through that. And then the second challenge, they don't tell us what it is. We just see this huge targ come in.
Which makes everyone except for, our boy Maller is terrified of it. And he's like, oh, yeah.
No, yeah, he's the only one that's not, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although Boimler does.
Boimler is the first one to try to jump at it. Am I catching it? Yes,
That
spoiler.
was
Yes,
beautiful.
you did.
That was beautiful. Yeah. And Ma just stands there and kind of was like, really? Really?
Mhm.
He had just gotten, head-butted by a targ that morning. He was not happy.
Yeah.
So. But that was where we were saying earlier, Malor really,
Excels.
yeah,
Yeah.
excels.
Yeah, they couldn't have done this without him. Either of these, the two first of the first two challenges.
Yeah. And doesn't he have the giant target at the end?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he
So
takes him home with him.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he's
Yeah.
sitting there. Yeah. He doesn't quite look the same because he was wearing like armor and stuff
Mm-hmm.
in the pit, and
They had to make him look
he
fierce.
takes him home, and he just kind of looks like a happy giant targ, really giant targ. Yeah. So then they get him hogtied, and Bark wants him to trim his nails
Mm-hmm.
and express his glands, and Malor's down for that because that seems to be something he has to do with his
On a regular basis.
flock of targs. What is a group of targs?
Asset. Like,
Herd of targs.
is it a herd or do they treat them like livestock? Like
What do they
livestock
call a group of
guard
pigs?
animals.
Is there a name for that?
But like a livestock guard animals. Maybe the targs protect the gach
Okay,
worms
here we go.
against
Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, so a
Birds.
pastel, a team, a sounder, a drove,
A
or a
drove.
drift.
Oh,
Yep.
Wow. All right,
Cool.
we got a large number of different ones to work with.
Oh, that's funny. A group of boars may also be called a singular. Because English is weird. I love it. Okay, so we have a passel of targs.
well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess a
Well, it's
group
just a
of them.
group. Yeah.
Yeah, but I bet I feel like a targ would make for a really good livestock guard animal where the worms are the livestock.
Yeah.
Targs
Yeah.
chasing away birds,
Yeah.
Maybe they rut
Oh.
in the dirt and like kind of aerate the
Oxygenate.
soil.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the targs are prey animal to even larger predators, like the one that Malak ran over, whose balls he took.
Yeah.
It was an accident.
Yeah,
You didn't-
but it was a glorious
Honorable nonetheless.
Okay. You don't ask how those got there. You just congratulate him on the nice kill.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So Terminus Bark didn't think that they would be able to do that so easily. So he upped the challenge by asking him to trim the targ's toenails and express his anal glands, which also wouldn't have been a challenge for them.
I do appreciate that Mariner calls him out at that point. So
Pirate
then,
tar groomer.
yeah. Then we find out that the final trial is that Ma must choose a member of his crew to sacrifice, which doesn't feel honorable or Klingon-y at all. That just feels more like a trap.
Mhm. Yeah.
He offers up himself, which is kind of Starfleet, kind of human, not very Klingon to me. And
until
you're
we
making a
find
face.
until we find out his motivation.
Yeah.
If you go back a season,
hmm
and we have the Pakled controversy, the conspiracy floating around to go through, you find out that Maha's captain was his family was one of the ones supplying the Pakleds with technology and weapons to destabilize the entire region.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that when Mariner confronts him and says, well, what are we doing here? And he finally breaks down and he says, I don't want to be a ship captain in his fleet.
Yeah.
Because it was miserable. It was terrible. And so that's when Boimler does the rite of, what is it, forced conscription?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Corinne and Anaj come in and say that they can arrange for him to have it be in a different fleet.
Yeah.
And then that's how we get him there.
So there's different levels. He had to have the support of those two because you needed 2/3 of the council, the oversight council or council of oversight to do that. And then when goes and does the rite of forced conscription and makes
that's beautiful.
makes it clear, it's like you're not as smart as you think you were. Well, part of the thing that helped was the fact that Boimler knew Klingon law.
Yeah.
You have such interesting laws.
I like the idea of nesting one ritual inside of another, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and just the bureaucratic complexities that could come of that.
Yes. I think that appeals to our raised as Catholic brains.
Well, yeah, but
Complicated rituals.
yeah, and complicated and irreconcilable, hypocritical rituals.
Yeah, there's that.
Well,
There's that too.
and if you really are someone who's behind the scenes manipulating all these other Klingons through, honor and tradition, they might just be headstrong enough to jump into a situation without thinking about it, because that's what they expect the society will expect of them.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing that's not like real life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, not the good timeline. Anyway, end up in the rite of forced conscription, and Bach is now part of Maha's crew, and he can kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And he does something that's unusual, because when they fight and Maha wins, Maha will let him live if he gives him his captaincy back.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he turns his back, he's stabbed.
Yeah.
And that proves to the rest of the council, the rest of the Klingons that is there, that he
It's
never did
extraordinary
any,
and dishonorable.
yes, he never had any honor in this in the first place.
Yeah, to stab another Klingon in the back
After surrendering
during a
and begging to not
Mhm.
be killed.
yeah.
The begging alone.
So that fight between Maha and Barg was so well choreographed. I don't know. I don't know how much. I don't know the lengths to which the Lower Decks production team goes to get. It reminded me. This is going in a weird direction, but it reminded me of Naruto Shippuden, where
Floor is yours. I don't know
they
about that one.
actually they would hire a different animation team, maybe artist team, to either draw and animate or just animate the fights.
Mhm.
So there's a reason, like when you're watching Naruto Shippuden, that the fights feel so much different than the rest of the show. Good one, good reference. Well, one that comes up a lot is the fight where Pain, spoilers, decides to invade the Hidden Leaf Village. But anyways, Konoha. But yeah, it reminded me of it was just on a different level than the rest of the show, and because it is animated, we were able to get a lot more choreography and what felt like a lot more almost natural movements with a batleth too.
Okay.
The batleth is such a realistically unwieldy weapon.
Yes.
But in the cartoon, it was perfect.
Mhm.
It was perfect. So, yeah. It was a very well choreographed fight, and at a very satisfying end, with Bach being impaled on the pole arm that he used to stab Ma in the back.
Yeah.
And I did appreciate the pink blood. That was nice to have
of
that
course.
back again.
You cannot have that. Absolutely.
What color is Klingon blood? The great question.
I have such memories of watching, and I'm ashamed I can't think of the movie.
Undiscovered Country.
Undiscovered Country, with that
Your honor is sound.
gloopy.
Pepto-Bismol blood.
Yes.
Mhm.
It reminded me a lot at the time because at the time of Ghostbusters 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
the pink slime.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Anyways.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, and the lore that I read is correct, that was to prevent it from having an R rating. Because there was so much blood in the scene where where Gorkon is killed.
Okay. All right. Yep. How racist. The term humanoid.
Oh.
And it's not rated R unless it's human blood.
I didn't know where you were going with that at first.
I don't know. I mean, it's just
yeah.
silly. It's just like, okay, so we've got these bipeds who, thank God, they don't look like humans, and we're gonna get away with them being massacred, and not having an R rating by changing their blood to a different color.
Interesting. Well, there's a thought.
There is a thought.
I thought you were starting to quote Azatbor for a moment there, but
Who?
Azatbor, the daughter who becomes
I
chancellor.
was.
The very name is racist.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Though it's kind of like the Klingons being subhuman and
Yeah.
aliens in general not being respected as a whatever.
Inalienable human race.
Yes.
The very name is racist.
We'll come back to it later.
Yeah. Yeah, we're coming up on 35th anniversary of that. Oy, okay. Anyway.
And then a week after that
Is
it'll
your
be my
35th
35th birthday.
That's how I knew how many years it had been. It's like, wait, 30, 35th, yeah. Right, okay. So Barg gets his captaincy back. They don't give him a ship right away.
Mahan gets his captaincy back.
Excuse me, yes, Barg is dead. He does not get his captaincy back. He goes and hangs out in Klingon hell because he was dishonorable. And we find out that Mariner had kind of tricked the system and Corinne had helped her because what she needed was to analyze a dimensional rift in Klingon territory, and Barg wouldn't let them in the system, wouldn't let Starfleet in the system. So Ma'a is going to help with that, and we find out at the end what happened with that. But in the meantime, we go over to the Cerritos, and we have Dr. Miglimo's people's, what does he call them? Scholar. He calls them food critics. I'm putting them in the line of scholars, and then you kind of get the impression that they are also religious figures.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe religious priests or something, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this next, the secondary plot, which is Miglimo hosting these Cloakian food critic, whatever we want to call them, Sir Legnog and Madame Gonald on the Cerritos, and he is very nervous because
Feathers puffed out, losing them as he's walking.
yeah, because he wants to make sure he gives a good impression. I don't know if this is the first time that we have heard his people are called Cloakians. It might not be. There's kind of in the back of my head, I feel like we've heard that once before, but it fits for bird people.
Because
if you want to talk about that.
Because bird genitalia is referred to as a cloaca.
Mm-hmm. And reptiles have that too, right?
Do they?
Because they're
do.
reptiles and
I've never
birds.
looked under.
They're all dinosaurs.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're it's like if Earth was called the
Pick one.
Gonadians. Because
Yeah.
balls,
Yeah.
testicles, and ovaries, gonads.
It'd be more like if it
gonads
was
both.
called the vaginal canals, but okay. Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I like gonadians though.
That's a good name.
But yeah, cloacans.
Yeah. So apparently, not apparently, we find out that the whole reason that Miglimo's people develop warp drive was to find better food. Seek out.
Yes. So again, with Dr. Miglimo, he is not your standard Cloacan.
Good point.
Because he is not looking for different foods. He becomes a therapist.
In Starfleet.
In
A chef of the
Starfleet.
mind.
In Starfleet, Dr. Miglimo is the Worf of lower decks.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Wow.
I love that. I love that.
And when he, when we get to the part where he's giving them their first meal, the best that is available on the Cerritos, and they break out their implements.
And the one utensil they always go for is the one that is imitating a beak.
Yes.
So funny.
Munching it up.
Yeah.
Tiny piece off. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's the only reason that they went out into the stars was to seek out new foods,
New culinary experiences.
We get his first name, which is Gabers or Gabbers. I feel like that probably has a reference that I don't know. So, somebody
Why don't
tell
you
me.
just be McMahon's bird growing up?
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
That'd be funny. I like that. So he serves them a replicated meal, which is supposed to be the most flavorful thing on the Cerritos, or available on the Cerritos. One part of it is mac and cheese with breadcrumb topping, which, yes, that is one of the most flavorful things you can get in Earth cuisine, I think. They find it to be bland. They yell at him. They call him a heretic and say that he will be written into the book of the flavorless.
And one of the things that insulted them so much was that he replicated the food and did not cook it.
Yes.
Again, another instance of how he's different from the rest of the culture.
Yeah. So because of that, Rutherford suggests that he cook them a meal. And so he does that. And Rutherford and Tendy help. And then Rutherford and Tendy help act as waitstaff, and they're wearing little bow ties, which I think is, that's just fun with their uniform. I got a little bit of a Strange New Worlds vibe with this, with the cooking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Captain Freeman was there with them while they were cooking.
True, yeah. She did not like the look of the fish multi-eyed thing that I didn't like the look of it either. It was
The
Anaran
prime hogfish.
Hogfish, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Odo stirring the batter in DS9
I forgot about that too.
when they're cooking in
That's-
Sisko's quarters.
Yep.
It just looks so cute.
Yeah. So I always, I go to Pike with the cooking now, but yeah, Sisko was the first one to do that. I mean, we had Riker making those eggs at one time, but
They were delicious.
Worf was happy. Yeah. And Tendy, of course, is an excellent cutter up of things, chopper, because of her assassin skills. Yes. Yeah, so they serve this. This is also bland.
According to Legnog and Connell.
Yes. It's covered in salt, but they apparently cannot taste it. And apparently this is enough to get Meglimo thrown in prison for the rest of his life and have his family written out of the Great Seating Chart, which is apparently where Cloacans go when they die.
And I think it was it Tendy or Rutherford that looked up these two on
Tendy.
the equivalent of YouTube and all of their reviews.
Complete with thumbnails, with reactionary,
Yes, just obnoxiously edited thumbnails for their reviews, and everything was bland. And everything had been bland for a very long time. And Mignone looks at it and was like, these things that they tasted, they're not bland. I've had them myself.
But then and then he gets arrested, placed under Cloacan arrest, and then it's up to Tendy and
Rutherford and
to
Freeman,
to come up with a solution, which is beautiful.
Swap out the food.
With what?
Replicated shit.
Yeah. Whenever anyone arrives on Cloaca, they people receive an amuse-bouche, which is like an appetizer for appetizers. I only know amuse-bouche from the episode of Friends with John Lovitz. Tartlets.
He blazed up a doozy in the cat.
Are they oysters? I don't know what they are.
Supposed to be oysters.
Okay.
So an amuse-bouche, and it was going to be the last flavorful thing that
You have for his life.
Yes. Well,
that Miglimo would get.
Well, he was in a prison that didn't allow butter, which that's bad. I don't know that I'd be able to do
that.
That
is a prison.
myself. Yeah. But yeah, they replaced him with terrible food, and good old Legnog and Gonald pretend that it's not.
They think it tastes wonderful.
And they're found out. And that gives Miglimo an opportunity to
psychoanalyze them.
Yes.
Offer his services.
Oh, yes. That was the phrase I was looking for there. And yeah, then that's that. But they poof out the way he did, which was really funny. So that takes care of that one. And of course, they're going to provide the good food while he's helping them to get through their issues with their loss of taste.
And we're not worried about it being ethical.
No. And people pay for psychological analysis if they're paying in kind with good food.
Yep.
I'm okay with that.
Barter
I can deal with
system.
that.
Yeah. No, I was going to say the Federation doesn't believe in currency.
Exactly.
So
He
how
has
do
to
you
get paid
pay?
anyway. Yeah.
No Darsecs are gonna
Crosses.
change here.
Yeah.
No Latin.
Yep. Yep. So then the end of the episode, we come back to Kronos, and we find out because Ma'a was able to use, actually it was the wine ship, the wine delivery ship, to go scan these dimensional rifts that we have been seeing throughout the season, and it turns out that they are artificial, and we don't have much beyond that. I am so curious.
I think Boimler's got something to do with it. Either Boimler or the other universe Boimler, who believes he is a prime universe Boimler.
Well, everybody believes they're the prime universe,
Yeah.
so, I'm wondering if it's going to be, and this literally just occurred to me, if it's going to be other Boimler who's now in Section 31, who we have not seen in a season.
Other Boimler? First other Boimler?
Yeah.
Transporter accident Boimler,
Transporter
right?
accident Boimler, yeah.
Okay.
William Boimler.
William, that was his name that he went by, yeah.
Yeah, so.
The one that was on the Titan.
Yes.
And is still, well,
Presumed dead.
Yeah, presumed dead and is. Anyway, that just popped in my head. So I'm putting it in the airwaves in case it actually happens. I don't think it will be.
When is the Section 31 movie coming out?
January? February?
Hmm.
Early next year. Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to see him in that.
Boimler?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just
I don't
so
know.
crazy that we're seeing Sam Richardson in it. But
They're so crazy that it's happening at all, and I love it.
oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. So we end on Kronos with Ma has decided to take his brother on as his second in command. He is annoying and he smells, but they'll work on his stench. And he tells him to go put his those bones, the jaw bones, on the new ship, on the new old ship. And somehow Malor ends up dropping them on himself and hurts himself, and he can't get out from underneath the bones. And he says, I can see Kalas, the original one, the one who did impressions. Which sent all of us Googling, because, I've said I'm not a TOS. TOS is not my first Trek. It's not the one that I have the best knowledge of. And so when you get into a kind of obscure moment well, maybe not obscure, but a moment in an episode that is not one of the top ones that people watch on a regular basis, which is a Savage Curtain. Yes, it is Space Lincoln, but, other than that, what do people remember about it? But apparently that's where we meet Kalas, who does impressions, because he tries to convince Spock that he is, that he's calling out in pain as Surak from behind a rock or something, and that's how they figure out that it's not really them, because Surak wouldn't be calling out in pain. Spock says that. So we spent probably, a half an hour looking up. We figured it had to do with the Savage Curtain. And so then we started Googling the actor, thinking that maybe he was somebody who had been known for doing impressions. We went way deeper on that than was necessary.
As is tradition.
That's what this show does to us, though.
So that's the ritual of Star Trek with De Clercks.
Yeah. And many other people, too, I'm sure. It's not just De Clercks, but
yeah,
we keep it going. And after all, that does prove that it was the right thing to do for them to edit out Boimler's beard in all the trailers.
They know us too well.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, dang it.
They do.
I do think it's funny to have a Klingon kind of crying out, like, I could see the light.
Yeah.
Or it also reminds me of Sanford and Son. Like, oh, this is a big one. And wow, I can't remember the actor's name, but
Fox.
yes, and I was like, he can see his wife.
Come on, Elizabeth.
Yeah. Yes.
In between the you big dummy.
Yeah.
Which that kind of fits for the Malor relationship.
It does. Yeah.
Maybe there's a Sanford and Son fan on the staff there. Anyway. Yeah, so that was an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A very good episode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm so sad that this is the last season of Lower Decks.
Just so both storylines were about Starfleet folks working within the confines of another culture and maybe around it, as they, needed to make sure that the folks that they cared about were at home there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good place to end. Any other final thoughts that we have?
I would like to hear more Klingon death metal.
Yes.
Yeah, we were talking about
Okay.
Brandon Smalls earlier, and the scene of the death metal with the hair whipping around got me thinking that might have been like a nice little like nod to him, but
Metalocalypse.
to Metalocalypse, right?
Yeah.
And Nathan Explosion, but yeah, I am curious about that too. I would love to see more of that. Yeah.
All right, so more stories of people being kind of fish out of water in non-Starfleet situations, and more Klingon death metal.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good to me.
And more unique intros like that one, because
Yes.
it's just perfect. Yeah.
So beautiful, yeah. I hope we get that calmer version of the opening sequence music on the soundtrack.
With the French horn, yeah, absolutely.
Yep. All right, well, thank you guys for sitting down and talking into a microphone today instead of just sitting around and talking like we usually do.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you,
Thank
Thad,
you.
for being on an away mission.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
If listeners want to continue the conversation anywhere online where they can talk at you, find you.
Oh, that would be on Instagram at Nikki Zebra, NICKIEZEBRA. Yeah.
Left over from the screen name that I set you up with on AOL.
Back in my day, when they couldn't have more than 10 characters in an AOL screen name, and my sister had me sit down at the family computer, what do you want your username to be? I don't know. Put together your two favorite thing, or you with your favorite animal. And so Nikki Zebra, sans the E in Nikki, was born.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
20 years later, still in use.
Yeah.
20, probably closer to 15 years later. Or 16
Probably
or 17
closer
years later.
to almost 20 years later.
Yeah,
I think we got the computer in like 96, 97.
Gateway.
Yeah. Anyway, Dom.
You can find me at a much less interesting name, Dom_Virginio, V as in Victor, IRGINIO.
All right. And Jay, they hear from you on History with the Szilagys, but just in case they don't listen to our history podcast, and they really should.
Yes, you can find me on all the socials at Jason Dark Elf.
All right. And in addition to here on Infinite Diversity, you can find me on that aforementioned History with the Szilagys podcast. And I'm also happy to chat about our shows in the BQN Collective on Facebook and in the Discord. And I'm on the various socials at The Goddess Livia, that's TheGoddessLivaa, where you can see my opinions about Star Trek history and leftist politics, as long as I'm allowed to talk about those.
We're all reaching and putting our hand on Chrissy's shoulder now.
Yes.
Don't worry, I'll be there with you.
Yeah, until we're up on the wall. But in the meantime, don't forget all the rest of our great shows here on the BQN. Here's a recording of Amy to tell you all about them.
What shows are on BQN, you ask? Well, here's a rundown of some podcasts you might be interested in. All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast covering all of Trek, hosted by Amy, Mark, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristen. Whether you've got Xbox or Nintendo, check out Bargain Bin Gamer, a YouTube show hosted by Davey, a self-proclaimed gamer who specializes in reviewing and showcasing affordable video games. 2 episodes enter the arena, 1 comes out victorious. Join hosts Joe and Kevin, and a guest, as they debate which should win the Batleth battle. Grab your popcorn as you listen to Cinema Z, a film discussion and review podcast showcasing films you probably missed, but should definitely check out. Hosted by Mark and Matt. Don your apron for The Food Replicator, where Matthew eats and drinks his way through the Star Trek cocktail and 3 cookbooks. Beam Aboard Galaxy Class, a Star Trek Next Generation podcast covering all of TNG, hosted by Steven. In order to not repeat it, listen to History with the Szilagys, a snippet of historical events from around the world, hosted by Chrissie and Jason. For the newest Trek coverage, check out Infinite Diversity, hosted by Chrissie and Thad. Curl up with a good book and delve into Beta Canon with Peter, host of the online Trek Book Club on Twitter, and his new companion, Trek Book Club podcast. Test your Trek knowledge with Treksperts Quiz, a Star Trek quiz show hosted and written by Davey. Whether you're a member of Starfleet Federation or Planetary Union, go check out Union Federation, covering current Star Trek and the Orville, which we all know is really a Trek show, hosted by Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley. Head over to YouTube and watch The View Screen live on Sundays, your Trek-inspired talk show hosted by Kelvin and Amy, with Season 2 starting in September for a 10-week run. Spill the tea with Christos while he discusses current Trek news and events and explores the world of fandom via guest interviews, all with a LGBTQIA+ perspective on What's the Tea About. And for our Patreon members, we have The Hive Mind with monthly script readings, Let's Fly, a Discovery reaction show, It's Green, a cornucopia of topics, Amy's Math Moments, a quick look at math moments in Star Trek. We know you have a choice of podcasts to choose from, and we thank you for listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Thank you for tuning in to Infinite Diversity. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Mark White for the awesome show art. Please subscribe in your favorite podcast player, and don't forget to rate and review us there as well. And if you'd like to reach out, you can find the network on the various socials at BQN Podcasts, or our show specifically at IDIC Podcast. I do have to say, officially, we are all off of Twitter now after recent events, so look for us on the other socials. You can also talk about any and all of our BQN podcasts in the Facebook group, the BQN Collective, and of course in the aforementioned Discord. When you next hear from us, we'll be talking about the 5th episode of the final season of Lower Decks, which is titled Starbase 80. Until then, we bid you peace and long life.